Looking for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Board's March 31st, 2026 Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says CENTCOM intelligence shows U.S. strikes are weakening Iranian military morale and causing internal strain inside Iran's armed forces. Hegseth says the next several days will be critical as U.S. operations continue. The statement comes as the conflict around Iran expands across the region. President Donald Trump says Iran can still reach a peace deal, but he is pairing that message with a warning that far greater destruction will follow if no deal is reached. The warning comes as fighting intensifies, shipping lanes remain under pressure, and energy markets stay on edge. President Donald Trump is also criticizing France after reports that Paris refused to allow Israeli aircraft carrying U.S. weapons to cross French airspace for the Iran war. The dispute exposes a widening split among Western allies as the conflict expands and military support becomes a dividing line. A major blast has hit Isfahan, Iran, an area tied to strategic and military infrastructure. The strike increases pressure on Tehran as high-value targets come under attack, and the war moves deeper into critical Iranian territory. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the United States can achieve its objectives against Iran without sending in ground troops. Rubio says control of the Strait of Hormuz is a central objective and says the United States is prepared to ensure that route is reopened and secured. Israel says 4 of its soldiers were killed in close combat in southern Lebanon, opening another deadly front in the Hezbollah fight. The losses show the regional war is spreading across multiple active fronts at the same time. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments April 1st in the birthright citizenship case tied to President Donald Trump's executive order. The case is a major legal battle of the term because it goes directly to the meaning and limits of automatic citizenship under the Constitution. Florida is renaming Palm Beach International Airport after President Donald J. Trump after Governor Ron DeSantis signed the legislation. The change is scheduled to take effect in July once final federal steps are complete, adding another public landmark tied to Trump's name. President Donald Trump has also unveiled plans for a presidential library in Miami. The project is planned as a major downtown skyscraper and is now a political symbol tied to Trump's long-term public legacy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling for an Easter truce tied to attacks on energy infrastructure, while Russian drone strikes continue. Moscow rejected the proposal and fighting continues as both sides remain locked in war. Ukraine is also facing growing financial strain as the war continues. Pressure on Kiev's budget has opened a second front in the conflict, with long-term war financing now as important as battlefield performance. Russia has expelled a British diplomat over espionage accusations, a move Britain rejects. The expulsion is the latest escalation in the deteriorating relationship between Moscow and London. In Nigeria, gunmen killed dozens in another mass attack in Plateau State. The assault underscores the instability in central Nigeria, where recurrent communal and sectarian violence keeps producing large-scale casualties.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Akun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Akun honey pot. a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toast or in tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Akoon butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wood and pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Akoon's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Akoon.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Boards, March 31st, 2026. The European Parliament has approved tougher migrant return rules in a 389 to 206 vote. The vote establishes a harder line on migration across Europe as border control and removals return to the center of European politics. Transportation Security Administration officers are now receiving back pay after weeks of disruption tied to the partial Department of Homeland Security shutdown. Major airports are returning to normal operations after staffing shortages and severe delays, but the broader shutdown fight in Washington remains unresolved. The FBI says the attack on Temple Israel in Michigan was a Hezbollah-inspired act of terrorism. Investigators say Ayman Ghazali rammed a truck into the synagogue, injured a security guard, and acted after consuming pro-Hezbollah material. Federal prosecutors have charged U.S. Marine Corporal Andrew Paul Amaryllis with stealing and selling military weapons and ammunition from Camp Pendleton. Prosecutors say the case involves a stolen Javelin missile system and thousands of rounds of ammunition, exposing major failures in military inventory security. A Pima County Sheriff's deputy in Arizona has been fired and charged after investigators say he kidnapped a woman while she was in custody and delayed taking her to jail. The case is a major abuse of authority scandal inside law enforcement. The Justice Department has charged Maryland man Jonathan Spalletta in connection with hacks that allegedly stole more than $50 million from uranium finance. Prosecutors say the case involves computer fraud and money laundering tied to a major crypto theft. A former White House staffer has been charged with involuntary manslaughter after authorities say he accidentally shot and killed his girlfriend in San Francisco. The case is now moving through court. U.S. fighter jets intercepted a civilian aircraft that entered restricted airspace near President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property in Palm Beach, Florida. NORAD says the aircraft was escorted out after flares were used to get the pilot's attention in the latest airspace violation near the president's residence. The Chicago Bulls have waived Jaden Ivey for conduct detrimental to the team after a social media video in which he criticized Pride Month and made religious remarks. The decision ended a short and troubled stretch in Chicago and turned the story into a national sports controversy. NASA says the countdown is underway for Artemis II, the first crewed mission headed toward the moon in more than 50 years. The mission is a major step in the U.S. lunar program and a key test before future moon landing operations. SpaceX is moving toward one of the largest IPOs in history. Reports say E-Trade is in talks to help distribute shares to retail investors, making this one of the most closely watched public offering stories on Wall Street. Ghana has approved development of the Awoya lithium project, a move that could make it the country's first lithium mine and a rare African supply source aligned toward U.S. markets rather than Chinese-backed buyers. The project is now a strategic part of the fight over critical minerals and industrial security. The Iran conflict, the Ukraine war, Europe's migration crackdown, major domestic legal battles, rising crime and security threats, and high-stakes technology developments are all moving at once. Military, political, economic, and strategic pressure is rising at the same time, and these stories are now colliding.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.